Good morning everybody and welcome to this week's RDA Business Leaders Breakfast, and I'm really excited that you're joining us because this morning I'm sitting down with prominent local business person Pip Brett. Pip, welcome to breakfast.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
Yeah, fantastic to have you here. A lot of locals across the Central West know you for your business dealings with Igloo and Jumbled, but for those that don't know your story, do you mind giving us, a little bit of the background about your connection to the Central West and then a little bit about your business journey?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Orange, born and bred, and I own Igloo and Jumbled, which is at the Sonic, which is the old Masonic Hall that we've renovated in town. And I went away to uni in Sydney and studied fashion, and while I was there I decided I wanted to open a clothing store in Orange. Was in Bathurst to start off with, but there was nothing for young people at that time. It's quite different now really, the retail landscape, but at the time there wasn't much going on here. So when I was 21 I opened Igloo clothing store, and yeah, it's been a journey. And then I opened Jumbled I think 8 years ago. I lose track of time, but yeah, I just feel like in the last couple of years, it's probably ever since we've moved to our new home, the Masonic Hall, it's really got a lot of traction. And yeah.
How has the retail offering in Orange and the Central West changed, do you think, in the period of your business transition?
It's been amazing. Orange has always been miles ahead, I think, of other regional areas anyway. There was lots of gorgeous stores here, homewares and clothing stores, but they're all, the clothing stores were for an older market. So my mum, Kez, she had a clothing store here in Orange for 25 years. She's just recently retired 4 years ago. I'm painting for us in the shop. But yeah, Orange, I think the more you get in a regional area, the more it attracts and the more people that are moving here. And I just think, yeah, in the last few years, tourism's just gone gangbusters. Like, it was always good, but it just feels like it's gone next level.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, last year, I believe, was a very big year for yourself and for your business. I believe you attended the Global Innovation Awards in Chicago. For our viewers, can you tell us a little bit about those awards, what you learnt from that experience, and what that recognition meant for you and for your business? Yeah,
it was pretty crazy. It's like the biggest retail awards in the world, and there were all sorts of amazing people there, and we were selected to go to represent Australia, and we came away with an award, and it was a very inspiring experience. And it just sort of went to show me that, you hear about so much doom and gloom in the media about retail, and my takeaway from it was that retail isn't dead. Boring retail might be dead, that in retail you need to be more than just a bricks and mortar store. And I think the same goes for many other businesses. You have to be online, have workshops, have interactive events, cafes, make it a really inspiring experience. And I think it made me, it also gave me the confidence that, yeah, we are in a small regional town, but we are just as good as anyone else in the world. And it just gave me more fire in my belly to try and do better, be better, do more. Yeah.
It's probably a nice segue because also at the start of this year, regional businesses really benefited from the Buy from the Bush campaign. Yeah. And that kind of probably plays into what you were saying about the importance of having an online presence. Why was that campaign so important, do you think, and what benefits did it have for your business?
I think Buy from the Bush and Grace Brennan just went to show that a simple idea can change people's lives. And I know many people that they now turned their little passion project or side gig into their full-time job. And I think, and particularly for women as well, who, which I've found to be so amazing. But I think with the drought, we all felt so helpless and hopeless, and people were trying different charity things, but Grace didn't do it through charity. I think Buy from the Bush was so amazing because it empowered people, and it just goes to show like how important strong businesses are for strong communities. And it didn't make people feel sorry for the bush. It just showcased it, which was, I think, a really nice spotlight to put on.
A nice juxtaposition between the doom and gloom of the drought, but there's still some of that positivity that exists. And I think we were out at Condobolin a couple of months ago, and we stopped in at the hall in Condo, and they benefited from Buy from the Bush. And one of the ladies there was saying that she had an earrings business, which she did on the side, but she took more earrings down to the markets on Martin Place when they had the Buy from the Bush markets, sold everything by 10:30 a.m. So it just shows you that it really hit a chord, I think, with the consumers. And I think it's a nice way that people could be able to see some of those fantastic products and offerings that exist in regional New South Wales.
And I also think it's great that it wasn't something that just came and went. The longevity of it's been really important, and those businesses that did get those initial purchases of the earrings, let's say, that they've been able to build up a loyal customer base and then go on to leaving their jobs or whatever, I think has been amazing.
Yeah, it's probably a nice little dovetail into my next question, and it's about the importance of, I guess, that online presence for your business. So as you touched on earlier, Jumbled, fantastic street front there on Sales Street at your business there. Beautiful business, but you've also got a fantastic online presence. During COVID, you've been doing some small business tips for businesses. What was the catalyst for that? And what kind of feedback have you been getting from local businesses?
Yeah, I think being online, I was saying during the drought, it's good to drought-proof your business, and then COVID just went to show that it's about COVID-proofing your business as well. The small business tips, we started doing those, I guess, for a bit of fun for ourselves in store because we had no customers as well. But the feedback was so great, and I guess at work we've got sort of 3 aims that we want to do, which is to inspire, to give joy, and to educate. And I don't mean educating as in like a course or something like that, but it's about helping other small business owners. So yeah, it was really fun. We did everything from social media tips to apps, and we asked other people that we knew to give their tips as well. And yeah, it was really fun. The feedback was great.
So that's probably a nice little lead in. Now you have over 100,000 followers on your Instagram account, I believe. Why is Instagram such an important platform for your business? And what are some tips that you would give to other businesses tuning in this morning that might have an Instagram platform or might have social media platforms, but maybe not utilising them to the full extent that they could?
Yeah. My tip would be to just do it and to just have a go, and it doesn't matter what you put up. You'll work out what works and what doesn't. But social media, like an Instagram in particular, has been so amazing because it's free. You just have to do it, and it's easy. And it literally just, you post something and the sales come in, the interaction happens. Like I can gauge things from my audience, I can test things. And we've been able to really tell our brand story because people like to buy from who they like, know, trust. And I think that Instagram, and particularly Insta Stories, is a really good way of showing who you are and what you're all about, and people feel like they're your friend, sort of.
Yeah, and I guess especially because you have such a visual product that you're selling, Instagram is that perfect platform. And I guess with the demographics that use Instagram, it probably aligns nicely with your business. Yeah,
totally. I think 100%. But then there's so many businesses that aren't super visual that can do really well on Instagram. Like I've heard recently about a man in town who's like a lawn growing expert, and he shares his knowledge on Instagram, and he's got thousands of followers.
Or they can come to Facebook Live
and
listen, tune into the RDO Business Breakfast.
Yeah, totally. Like I just think there's lots of people and businesses that can benefit from it. You may not think that, but Sophie Hansen from Local Lovely, we were talking the other day, and she does beautiful food and all sorts of things on her Instagram, but she was just saying her main aim is to be useful, which I think for many businesses, whether you're a hairdresser or a mechanic or whatever, you can be useful using that platform and help your audience. And I guess it's about sharing knowledge as well, not keeping it to yourself.
I think that's a really good point, and it's something that you've said to me previously, that is when businesses do well in the region, there's flow-on benefits to other businesses. So that's why sharing that expertise, sharing that knowledge is really important. And it probably leads into, in February, you kicked off the Huddle in Orange, and I think there were over 300 attendees. 450. 450, I undersold you there by 50%. But can you tell our viewers a little bit about the Huddle? Where did the idea come from? And it probably leads into something you said earlier about inspiring but also educating customers and businesses. What were some of your take-home messages from the Huddle?
So the Huddle came about, it was a women in business, a weekend of inspiration for kick-ass business women is what we were spruiking it as. I guess the idea came about from a number of places. I've literally been sitting on this for a few years, but I probably didn't have the confidence that maybe we were the people that could have done it. The Commonwealth Bank sent me to a week in Noosa to do this amazing women in focus, and that changed my life, really. It came at a really terrible time when we just renovated the shop, but it was just like that wisdom that I really needed at the time. Then we're in the terrible drought, and we've been doing things like donating coffees to farmers at cafes and things like that, but Buy from the Bush hadn't started yet, but as we started promoting it, it had happened, and we were just trying to do something a bit more meaningful to help women in the bush as well, I guess. And then we were also down in Melbourne. It's three things. We were down in Melbourne at a trade fair with Jess, who works for me, and I was sitting next to this lady at dinner called Melissa from the Lotco, and she's a business I think consultant you'd call, and everything she was saying was just so amazing that I was like, we have to bring her to Orange. Like, people need to hear this knowledge. And on the walk home back to our hotel, it's like, we have to do this business event. I think now's the time. So from the outset, we didn't have long I think we started planning in September and started selling tickets in October, and it was in Feb, sold out straight away. But I think from the outset, our whole idea was that we wanted to create an event that we wanted to go to, a dream event that was flawless, and that was just our idea from the outset. And we had 10 mentors from all around Australia come, and be guest speakers from all different areas, social media, business. It was, and to hear real people's stories, the highs and the lows, was really fabulous. It was wonderful. And the takeaway from it was that, I think women can be their own worst enemy, that it's that they lack the confidence in saying, hey, I'm going to do this or whatever. But it was just such an inspiring weekend, and great for Orange. We did it over a weekend so that hopefully people would stay 3 nights. It was the middle of the drought as well, and it was one of my total highlights.
Yeah, fantastic. And I know the responses that I've heard anecdotally were that it was an outstanding event, and I think what you said is true. It was tangible, some of the stories for the attendees, but also the benefit to the region of having 450 people in Orange for a weekend, showcasing some of those other fantastic offerings in our region. I think was top shelf. So look, we're going to change pace. I know on your podcast you do your mixed bag, but here at RDA we do the Fast 5. Your go-to playlist on Spotify at the moment?
Well, Selena, who works for me, just had a heart attack a month ago, and she's just come back to work, so we created a playlist for her. Selena's Comeback. It's all heart related songs. You can find on Spotify. It's very good.
if you had someone drop in on unexpected, what's your go-to meal to cook for them?
Oh, my go-to meal. Sophie Hanson's one pot chicken.
One pot chicken from Sophie Hanson.
Oh, with lemon.
With lemon? All right, we might fish out that menu if we can off of her website. We'll put the link up to that one. Hidden gem of the Central West. So we know this region has some fantastic tourism offerings. It could be a restaurant, it could be a person, or it could be a location. But if you had visitors coming to Orange and the Central West, where's a little hidden gem you'd like to show them?
I love bushwalking out at Ophir, where they first discovered gold, and it's so beautiful out there, and all the waterfalls. It's lovely.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely Fourth Crossing.
Yes.
The Fourth Crossing walk out there. It's absolutely top shelf. First poundable gold, I think, in Australia was out at Ophir as well.
Yeah.
So some fantastic history. If someone was to play you in a movie of your life, who do you think would get the gig and do a good job?
I'm not very good with celebrities. My husband's knows all of those. Hopefully someone funny and probably a better dancer than me. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I don't know.
There's some prerequisites. We'll come back to that next time. You have been fantastic in donating your time to be part of the RDA 10 for 10 mentoring program, which has been fantastic. It's where we've partnered 10 Year 11 students from across Orange, Blaney and Cabonne with 10 local mentors. But what was the best piece of advice, or a piece of advice a previous mentor of yours has given you that stuck with you over the years?
Oh, gosh. Some people don't know that they're actually my mentor, I would say Jane Kay from Bird's Nest. She told me, when in doubt, be generous. And I think that's a really good thing for business and in life as well. So that's something that, she probably doesn't know that she's my mentor. But I think, but from being a mentor and meeting all of those young people get such a bad rap. And those kids were just, you can tell instantly that some people are going to go far, and they totally will. And it's amazing. I think they have more get up than any of us did.
Yeah, I tend to agree. They were an inspiring bunch. And what you said about mentors is so true. You don't understand that sometimes just a small bit of advice here and there can have a profound impact.
I know. And
someone.
Sometimes you hear that one thing and you really needed to hear it at that time. It may not have meant anything 5 years earlier or 5 months earlier, but it's that one thing that can transform everything for you.
Yeah, it's something Rich Evans said in a previous chat that we had a couple of weeks ago. He said, focus on faith, not feedback, when you're trying to prosecute your own vision of what you want to do with your business. And I thought that stuck with me, which I thought was really good. Now, we've talked about mentors. We've talked about why that's so important. One thing that I think is exciting about Jumbled has been, we've talked about earlier, is the podcast that you yourself have launched. Can you tell our viewers about the podcast and some of what brought that about, and what are some of the good stories that you've touched on through that platform? Yeah,
it's called Jumbled Loves a Chat. And I started with Sky Manson, who was a local girl, and she was really encouraging me to do it. And I was like, oh gosh, guess it's like Instagram. When it first started, I was like, gosh, not another thing. But we started it during the Huddle, and we interviewed the mentors when they were here in Orange. And I guess the whole idea of the podcast is, hearing the highs and lows of real stories, of real businesses, because it is great hearing the, oh my gosh, I'm so awesome and my business is doing so well story, but hearing the really bad things as well, and the challenges as well as the highs, is like having a little mentor in your ears. Get so many good takeaways each time from each podcast. But of late, the last probably month or so, because I think the face-to-face interactions work better, we've just been doing local businesses, and it's been amazing. And we've had Fiona Schofield from Fresh Fodder, and Christy Withers from Incy Interiors, and Sophie Hanson. Lots of local people don't know the amazing things that are going on in their backyards as well, and their stories are so relevant and amazing, and I walk away from them buzzing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think what you said, and that's what we're trying to showcase here as well, is good news stories about local businesses and success stories. It's probably a good way for us to plug the Backing Business Forum on the 20th of November, which you'll be a speaker at, which is an event we're pulling together later this year to kind of showcase and give some of those tips to local businesses as they rebound out of this COVID-19 period.
Yeah.
We've talked about some of the real positive things that have happened for you and for your business in the last 12, 18 months. One of the biggest challenges facing all businesses at the moment has been COVID-19.
Yeah.
What have you learnt during that period for your business, and how is your business and you as a business owner holding up during this unprecedented time?
Yeah, it was pretty terrible really at the start. I probably cried for a day. And then I was like, no, I need to have a plan. And I just set a plan, and I think it worked. It was more just a survival mode thing. I think it's the unknown when you don't know how long you'll be closed for or what you're going to do. But yeah, we were closed for 3 months in total, and we're just operating online. But and it was really stressful. The staff was really stressful when you've got people relying on you for their livelihoods. But yeah, I just called upon people that I knew to help, to give me advice as well. And I guess I set the plan in place early, and I just didn't. Mum's always said to me, if something doesn't feel right or you need to do something, just do it rather than let it happen to you. So that's been really good. But all in all, having the time to step back from the business even though we're still working in it, the positives have been amazing in that the things I've wanted to do, I haven't had the time to do. I made sure that they happened, so that when we did open, my aim was that we opened really well with a good bang. And I think with online it's been great, but now our challenge is all those first time purchasers to turn them into loyal clients. So that's our next challenge in this next phase, to not lose all that hard work that we work towards and all that stress. Like it was horrible, and I feel so sorry for Victoria at the moment who are back in it, because I can't imagine how mentally that would be again. But I think, locally it was pretty amazing in Orange. Everyone's supporting one another, all the cafes and restaurants, and I think we really have to keep that community spirit up.
I think that's a really good point, and we've seen it here through the kind of not-for-profit government agencies, that collaborative way people are working together. And I think you're right, that's also been reflected in the way the local business community has kind of got behind each other. But I think one of the points you just said earlier is really one for our viewers to take home this morning, is something that I was always told growing up was, he who hesitates is lost. And I think that kind of plays into what you were saying, but also about taking the time to take a step back and don't let the fog of war kind of distract you, and be strategic, I guess, with your business, even through a challenging period, which I think is a good point. Yeah,
it is. And I think the businesses that evolved and adapted, and in small business, a benefit is that you are nimble and that you can make changes really quickly and easily. I think those businesses will do really well, in the future also.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think one of the legacies of the COVID challenge is probably that adaptation that businesses have had to be it the offering that they make, the platform that they use, or how they distribute their product or offering. I think that you're right. That'll be one of the good stories. Look, we've touched on the importance of mentors earlier this morning. We've touched on your role in the 10 for 10 mentoring program. We do have some fantastic business leaders, community leaders in the Central West. What piece of advice would you give to young viewers tuning in this morning about some of the opportunities that exist in our region? And what has been probably one of your take-homes about someone who's gone away for uni, come back and tried to start their business in a country and in a regional area? Why would younger viewers tuning in this morning, why should they look at doing it as an option for themselves?
I think that, there's so many amazing businesses in regional New South Wales and Australia that you don't have to be in a big major city to do well. And life is just so easy and great out here that I think, I don't think you need to go to the big shiny lights. It is great to go away, but you know, there's so many opportunities out here that are growing all the time. And I think that's the exciting thing that's come from all of this, really, is that, yeah, the opportunities, you can make your life where you need it to be, where you want it to be, really.
Yeah, I think you're right, especially with business. Now the way that people, consumers, individuals are looking at regional Australia as a proposition to either move or move their business,
Yeah.
especially now with successful online e-commerce, online presence, you can effectively run a successful business. You don't need to be geographically based in the CBD of a capital city.
Yeah, and technology's amazing. And I think also as well, when a business, you know, a business story is so important as well, that it is nice to be located somewhere a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you said you kicked off Igloo in 2006.
Yeah.
There's been a transformational journey during those years. But over the next 12 to 18 months, where do you see Jumbled going? And what's kind of next on the horizon for you and your business?
Oh, I think the future's very exciting. I think personally, I'm a little bit tired that I would like to focus on, like I don't necessarily want to get bigger in any respects. I just want to be doing things that I really love doing. We're doing lots of collaborations and making our own product. I would love to be doing that more, because I'd love to get into fashion a little bit more. That's what I find really exciting. But I do want to, our online store presence, I just want to make better, even more amazing. I feel like online is where the growth is at the moment. But yeah, I just want to do things that inspire me and inspire the team, and because we're all really happy. And we started interviewing for some new roles last week, and that's been another positive of COVID, because the people were all amazing and everyone was so willing and wanting to work. It was just it was wonderful, and I would like to make spaces for all those people in the business, because they were all so lovely. So yeah,
I think you're right. That's one of the take homes that a lot of businesses have told us here at RDA is good staff are the backbone of a good business, especially in a challenging period that we've been through. And I think that's a fair comment. So Pip, look, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
I'm inspired. It's been fantastic to learn more about your journey, the story of Jumbled, and the role that you're playing in the Central West. For viewers that want to learn more about your business and engage with you directly, what's the easiest way that they can do that? Yeah,
probably on our website at Jumbled Online would be the best place to find us.
All right, well, we'll put up the link to Jumbled, your website, and to your handles for Facebook and Instagram after this morning's chat. The last little question that I have for you before we wrap up is, there's been a lot of visitors to the region. What's your favourite product in your store that if somebody was to walk through the doors there on Sales Street, that they might not know is there, but they should check out?
Two things. One's a bit of a weird thing, a bench spray by Bondi Wash. It's like a really good cleaning product. It's all natural and I love it, but that's weird. And I would say our Robert Gordon ceramics. We've created these dinnerware plates that's like just been a total dream come true. They're all mix and match, and that would probably be my favourite. But you can't miss it because I put it straight at the front door, so you can't.
Well, there you go. We've covered everything from cleaning products to visits to Chicago this morning. But Pip, thank you very much for your time. I hope everyone has a fantastic day and a great weekend. Tune in same time next week when I sit down with the CEO of Live Better, Natalie Forsyth Stock. But until then, have a good day and a good weekend. Thanks again.